Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News broadcast. We are coming to you live from Rupavahini's news studios. I'm Juliana there.
I'm Vin Hettiarachi and today is the 7th of June and here are today's headlines.
President says that the country's economy is stepping into the correct direction through the economic transformation draft bill. An allowance of 10,000 rupees to each house affected by the floods. The state debt management draft bill passed without a vote. The Prime Minister meets representatives of the European Union. 150 villagers in central Sudan killed in an attack. The decisive match of ICC T20 World Cup between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will be played tomorrow.
On to those and more stories in detail on today's top story. President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced that the government has initiated the first steps towards an economic stability by submitting economic transformation bill. He stressed that regardless of which government takes power, it is imperative to adhere to this agreement effectively to rebuild the national economy.
The President emphasized that proper plan is essential for addressing the country's economic challenges. He made these remarks during the inauguration ceremony of the selfless pouring injectable plant and the unveiling of Meldol Reliable Relief Manufacturing Facility in Ekala yesterday evening. The new production facilities initiated by Sands Active Private Limited under the Melwa Group represent a significant boost to this pharmaceutical sector. President Wickremesinghe, who unveiled the plaque and inaugurated the factory, also took an observational tour of the new facility. During the event, Chairman of the Melwa Group, Periyasamy Pillai Anandaraja, presented a token of appreciation to President Wickremesinghe in his address. In his address, the President pledged to work over the next 3 years to create a prosperous future for the nation's youth. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that today this company has created many job opportunities for young people and we are grateful for that. He said that this country urgently needs good jobs like these. The President said that unemployment has become a significant problem with many people earning low incomes. He added that due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic crisis, new job opportunities have not emerged in recent years, leading to 4 years of persistent unemployment. He said that when he became president, the country was in a major economic collapse. He added that, however, he believed that the country's economy could be brought to a good state in 2 years. He said that despite the difficulties and the economic burden we had to bear, we should aim to limit this hardship to a short period, strengthen the economy and build livelihoods. President Wickremesinghe said that to achieve this, we had to increase VAT, which led to criticism. However, within 2 years, the rupee strengthened and we have been able to move forward as a country. He said that in the recent harvest season, we enjoyed a good harvest and saw a resurgence of tourists coming to the country. He added that thanks to the ability and talent of our people as well as the government's sound plans, the country's economy has progressed. Today we need to speak with a clear understanding of the real situation in the country. Otherwise, discussing gossip serves no purpose. So far, the government has presented the economic transformation bill, which outlines several goals. He said that by 2027, the country's gross domestic product should grow at a rate of 5%, reversing the current negative trend. After 2027, we aim to achieve an economic growth rate of 8%. As the country develops, it is crucial to maintain this 8% growth rate for at least 15 years. Unemployment in the country must be reduced to 5% by 2025. By 2040, our goal is to establish an export-driven economy. We have reached an agreement with the IMF that these objectives are achievable and will advance the country's economy. He added that efforts are underway to enshrine this agreement into law. It is imperative that whichever government comes to power, whichever leader assumes responsibility for this country, should continue to uphold these agreements. It's essential to increase the income of the people and create new job opportunities. President Wickremesinghe said that to achieve this target, we have initiated an agricultural modernization program. He said that we intend to implement this program with the active involvement of the private sector. Moreover, new job opportunities are emerging in this country. We aspire to attract 2.5 million tourists to the country annually through tourism. Minister Harin Fernando, parliamentarians Rajitha Senaratne and Ishaq Rahman, Chief of Presidential Staff Sagar Ratnayaka and several others were present at this occasion.
The government has taken measures to provide a 10,000 rupee allowance to all households that have been affected by the inclement weather. Evaluation reports are now being taken regarding the fully and half-damaged houses and construction. Accordingly, compensations are to be made without delay within the next few days. President's senior advisor on the National Defence and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagar Ratnayaka made these comments engaging in an inspection tour at the Kolonava area to look into the needs of those affected by the floods. He inspected the damaged houses in Kolonava area and also visited the medical clinic held at the Sambuddharaja Viharaya in Kolonava for the well-being of the flood-affected people. Then he went to Kolonava Divisional Secretariat and held a discussion on the progress of the programs implemented by the government to provide relief for the affected people. Later, he told media that the completely damaged houses will be reconstructed under the support of the Sri Lankan Army state funds and the support of the Sri Lankan Army officials. He said that a program has been implemented to provide medicine for the needy. President's senior advisor on national defence and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagar Ratnayaka said that after consulting with the Divisional Secretariat, it was decided to provide an immediate allowance of 10,000 rupees to each two households affected by the floods. He said that additionally plans are underway to assess the extent of the damage of both partially and completely affected houses, with further compensation to be provided accordingly. He said that following the abatement of the flood waters, there is a heightened risk of disease outbreaks among the affected population, particularly among the vulnerable groups such as young children and the elderly. Sagar Ratnayaka said that efforts are underway to devise an effective program aimed at preventing the recurrence of such devastating floods. Parliamentarian Premnath C. Dolvatta said that President Ranil Wickremesinghe remains vigilant regarding the well-being of individuals in disaster-stricken regions and has instructed officials to ensure provisions of the necessary relief measures.
State Credit Management Draft Bill was passed in Parliament without a vote today with amendments. Ruling in opposition party politicians expressed various views in this connection. Parliamentarian Harsh De Silva said that there are casino centres in the country without proper regulatory system. The licence fee has now been increased up to 10 billion rupees. The government has said that online casinos are not allowed in the country. However, some people are doing online casinos at present. State Minister Ranjit Simalapitiya said that a draft bill regarding casinos were brought in the Parliament in 2010. However, it was not implemented. The relevant legal measures to regulate casinos were arranged in 2022. After that, the present government prepared a system to register casino businesses. The license fee is about 500 million rupees. The annual fee is 200 million rupees. The amount is to be increased up to 500 million rupees. In addition, 50% of their turnover is charged as a tax. In addition, a sum of $50 is charged from Sri Lankans entering a casino centre. To regulate the casinos properly, the government expects to present a gambling regulatory authority bill. Parliamentarian Harsh De Silva said that providing visa to foreigners at the airport has been entrusted with a private institution. Now they charge a sum of $25 per person. It was also questioned at the COPE committee. However, they didn't turn up. It is obvious that there is a deal in this connection. Minister Harin Fernando said that my old friend said that subject minister is silent as he had the opportunity to earn money from the VFS system. He said that as the subject minister he would not be silent in this connection. A case has already been filed against this matter. A simple entry visa fee has been increased up to $50. On the other hand, foreigners of 7 countries have been allowed to enter the country without a visa. A full report has been prepared in this regard. State Minister Shehan Sema Singh has said that the government expects through the debt management draft bill to change the existing debt management system. The government's aim is to manage the debts in sustainable manner in future. The International Monetary Fund will have discussions with the commercial creditors. In the near future, the relevant agreement can be made. The IMF is confident of Sri Lanka's debt restructuring process. It has already agreed that with the bilateral creditors. Another discussion is underway with the bond creditors. State Minister Sema Singh further said that the government will be able to conduct the talks in a positive manner. Parliamentary Harsh De Silva should be careful with the SJB. Nalaka Godaheva is the person who advised former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on economic matters. He had to face a drastic circumstance due to the following these advisors. Minister Dr. Bandalu Gunawardena said that former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa faced his destiny due to the guidance given by Nalaka Godaheva. They should be vigilant over such advices. For the President Gotabaya's failure, Nalaka Godaheva is totally responsible. The present government cannot take any responsibility at present.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe is scheduled to leave for India this weekend for an official tour. The President will take part in the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is through an invitation made by the Indian Premier. President Wickremesinghe recently congratulated the Indian Premier and Bharat Janata Party for their victory over the telephone. During this conversation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi invited the Sri Lankan leader to take part in the ceremony. Narendra Modi will be sworn in as the Indian Prime Minister for the third time on this Sunday.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena met representatives of the European Union today at the Temple Trees. Representatives of the European Union election monitoring operations and the European Union research operations were present at this meeting. They have focused attention on the upcoming elections at this discussion. After entering into an agreement with the government and the Elections Commission, they elaborated on the European Union's election monitoring systems. At this meeting, the Prime Minister said that provisions stated in the Constitution with regard to the presidential election are very clear. He added that Elections Commission has already issued an announcement in this connection. The outgoing Vietnam ambassador to Sri Lanka, Thi Thag Truc, met Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena today and informed her farewell. The Prime Minister thanked her for her contribution made during her office to strengthen bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and Vietnam.
The United States, through US aid, is supporting Sri Lanka's efforts to improve its investment climate by enhancing the access to commercial alternative dispute resolution. The initiative has led to an US-sponsored training and accreditation of 23 international commercial mediators in Sri Lanka, doubling the number of qualified mediators in Sri Lanka capable of offering business in a faster and less expensive alternative to traditional court litigation for resolving of disputes. Under USAID's efficient and effective justice projects, these 23 mediators have undergone extensive training in key areas such as communication, problem solving, managing emotions and overcoming impasse. The training was conducted by Singaporean International Mediation Centre. Following the 4-month mentorship program, these mediators will apply their new skills to facilitate around 100 commercial mediations in Sri Lanka by October 2026. In the meantime, US Embassy in Colombo will proudly welcome the US sports envoys to Sri Lanka, former National Basketball Association and Women's National Basketball Association players Stephen Howard and Astav Nadie from 8th June to the 14th. The public diplomacy section of the US Embassy will launch the week-long basketball program intended to harness the unifying power of sports, made possible through the collaboration with Food Foundation of Goodness and Impact Hoop Lab. 100 children were selected at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation premises today for a 6th stage of the Guan Sihineki education program, jointly organized by Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation and the Civil Aviation Services Authority.
The selections were made under the patronage of Chairman of SLRC, Senior Professor Sudanta Lianage. This program has been organized with the aim of providing knowledge on aviation sector to the children of the nation. 5 such workshops have been organized earlier so far. For the 6th stage, children between 15 and 18 years representing various places of the island have sent application forms. Out of them, 100 children were selected through a draw conducted by computer technology. It was operated by Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Senior Professor Sudanta Liyanage. The selected children will be taken to Katunayake International Airport premises for an educational workshop on the 10th of this month. The airport and aviation company, Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Aviation Training School and the Sri Lankan Catering also provided support for this program. Further details are available on the Rupavahini News YouTube channel. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Senior Professor Sudanta Liyanage, said that other children will also receive such opportunities in future. This experience may help the children achieve their dreams in future. The chairman especially expressed his gratitude to the Civil Aviation Services Authority and Sri Lankan Airlines and other relevant institutions for the support extended to make this move a success.
The Development Lotteries Board today introduced a special ticket titled Vinum Shua under the patronage of Chairman Ajit Naragala. A special draw of this lottery is to be held on the 28th of this month. The new ticket has the opportunity to win special prizes. The ticket is valued at 40 rupees. 2 6-digit numbers are printed on this ticket. By comparing the first number, cash prizes amounting to 100,000 rupees can be won. By comparing the second number, prizes up to 50,000 rupees can be won. These additional prizes for the existing prizes. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the importance of focusing on products that can succeed in a competitive export market by prioritizing paddy production.
He stressed the need to advance towards competitive agriculture by 2030 through the adoption of modern technology. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made this statement during the progress review meeting of the Agriculture Modernization Program convened at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday afternoon. The President highlighted that the future cannot be secured without focusing on competitive products. He emphasized that it is advisable to discontinue products that cannot compete in the export market. As part of the Agriculture Modernization Program, 26 divisional secretariats across the country have each received an allocation of 25 million rupees. A report detailing the current progress of this pilot project was also presented to President Ranil Wickremesinghe. This report encompasses the initiatives undertaken by the Ministries of Agriculture and Fisheries with endeavours aimed at establishing youth entrepreneurship villages and the involvement of private sector in the Agriculture Modernization Program. The objective of this project is to utilize modern technology of competitively supply goods for the export market, thereby capturing a larger share of export market, boosting foreign exchange earnings, enhancing agriculture economy. To attain these objectives, extensive deliberations were held regarding the development of an effective system to mitigate damages inflicted by monkeys and wild elephants on crops and minimize post-harvest losses. During the discussion, private sector representatives emphasized the critical role of modern technology in preparing for future competition in the export market. They also underscored the necessity for government intervention to enhance the infrastructure supporting agricultural operations. Additionally, they appealed to President Ranil Wickremesinghe to address existing barriers.
President's Director General on Trade Unions, Saman Ratnapriya, says that all trade unions should be united to save the people from their difficulties. He made these remarks expressing views over the railway engine drivers' strike. President's Director General on Trade Unions, Saman Ratnapriya, said that the government is aware of the problems pertaining to the railway engine drivers. The government has to face the country's bankruptcy problem as well. It is not suitable for them to start a trade union action over a small problem at this moment, since the general public has more serious problems than engine drivers' problems. It is difficult for the government to allocate extra money to solve the salary problems of the engine drivers. They must also think about the problems faced by the passengers. Government institutions are not efficient in providing services. This has led to a run of these institutions at a loss. The Railway Department has scored a huge loss of 1,240 million rupees during the year of 2022. Therefore, the strike should not be causing inconvenience to the general public at this juncture.
And we have more news from Home in Brief. The smart classroom set up at the Mayuraprada Primary School at Narammala in Kurunagala was opened yesterday by State Minister Shantha Bandara. A sum of 1 million rupees has been spent for this project. A special program was held today to mark the World Anti-Tobacco Day under the patronage of Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana. This has been jointly organized by the Ministry of Health and Country Office of the World Health Organization. Special march has also been organized at this moment. The service rendered by the Liquor and Drugs Information Center to prevent people from tobacco addiction was also felicitated at this event. A fire broke out early this morning at the Galpaya tea factory in Gampola, causing heavy damages to the factory. The fire was doused down with the support of Kandy firefighting unit. A ceremony to mark the National Bees Day was held in Kergod district yesterday in line with the World Bees Day. Sabaragamu Provincial Department of Agriculture has organized this event. And that's all the news we have from Hope. Stay tuned for international stories coming up next. And women. Fighting is still ongoing just a few kilometers away, with terrified villagers fearful of further escalations, the witnesses said. Another eyewitness reported the ongoing grim task of counting the dead and injured. Footage shared on social media shows a large crowd in Wad al-Noor village surrounding dozens of dead bodies shrouded in white as preparations are being made for their burial. Both the Sudanese army and the RSF have faced accusations of civilian massacre.
In the meantime, a person with prior health complications who had contracted bird flu died in Mexico in April, and the source of the exposure to the virus was unknown, the World Health Organization said recently. The World Health Organization said that the current risk of the bird flu virus to the general population is low. The 59-year-old resident of the state of Mexico had been hospitalized in Mexico City and died on the April 24th after developing a fever, shortness of breath, diarrhea, nausea and general discomfort. Although the source of the exposure to the virus in the case of currently unknown, the virus has been reportedly poultry in Mexico. The World Health Organization said in a statement it was the first laboratory-confirmed human case of infection with the influenza H5N2 virus globally and the first avian H5 virus reported in person in Mexico, according to the WHO. Scientists said the case is unrelated to outbreak of H5N1 bird flu in the United States that has no far infected any 3 dairy farm workers.
The United States has told Israel it must be fully transparent over an airstrike that reportedly killed at least 35 people at a central Gaza school packed with displaced people yesterday. Local journalists told the BBC a warplane had fired 2 missiles at classrooms on the top floor of the school in the Nusrat urban refugee camp. The Israeli military said it had conducted a precise strike on a Hamas compound in the school, but Gaza's Hamas-run government media office denied the claim. The US called on Israel to identify publicly the Hamas fighters it said it had killed, just as the Israeli military gave the names of 9 of them. Israel frequently identifies militants it targets in airstrikes, but it is rare for the US to urge it to do so. U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said that Israel authorities have told them there were 20 to 30 militants they were targeting. In the near-simultaneous news briefing, Israeli army spokesperson Daniel Hagari gave names of 9 Hamas and Islamic Jihad fighters he said had been killed in the strike. The latest deaths come just a week after 45 people were killed in an Israeli strike in the Gazan city of Rafah.
Prima cottumi.
The match between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh of the ICC T20 World Cup cricket tournament will commence at 6 a.m. Sri Lankan time tomorrow.
The match will be played at Grand Parry grounds in Dallas.
This moment is all that I've been dreaming of.
Sri Lanka teams meets Bangladesh in this first match following a defeat against South Africa in the first match. This match is a decisive for Sri Lanka as it becomes victorious mindset again. The Grand Parry ground has been constructed as a baseball ground in 2008. Later in 2023, it was developed as a cricket ground. Tomorrow's match will be played on the third international match that will be played on this ground. About 7,000 spectators have facilities at the times of this ground. Sri Lankan team engaged in a training session prior to this match. It was included in a fielding session and a batting session. Sri Lanka team participated in a batting training session with the US after 10 days. The practice match against Netherlands, they only took part in one batting session after the Sri Lanka team had no opportunity for a batting session. The tomorrow's match between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will be the 17th international T20 match of the history. The Sri Lanka team has won 11 matches and Bangladesh have recorded 5 victories.
The USA team recorded a revolutionary win against Pakistan in their match of ICC T20 World Cup cricket tournament. The USA team recorded this victory in the super over. The match was played in Grand Parry grounds in Dallas. Batting first, Pakistan scored 159 runs for 7 wickets in their 20 overs. Captain Babar Azam scored 44 runs. Shadab Khan scored 40 runs. Nostush Kenji claimed 3 wickets. In reply, USA team also scored 159 runs for the 3 wickets in the 20 overs. Monak Patel scored 50 runs. Aaron Jones not out 36. As the two teams tied, the super over is given to decide the game. Batting first, the USA scored 18 runs in the super over. In reply, Pakistan only scored 13 runs for the loss of 1 wicket in the super over. Accordingly, the USA team secured the victory of this match. The International Cricket Council has accepted that the Nassau Country Cricket Grounds in New York, where the Sri Lanka-South Africa ICC T20 World Cup cricket match was played, is not up to the required quality standards. In this game, Sri Lanka team was all out for 77 runs and the rival South Africa had to bat over 16 overs to chase this target. Another game between India and Ireland was also played in this ground. After that match, many started criticizing the quality of the grounds. Accordingly, in response to this criticism, the ICC has accepted that the match played in this ground are not up to the expected standards. They said, therefore, better pitches will be allocated for the next matches in this ground.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadas said that even the ICC has accepted that Nassau Country Cricket Ground is not suitable to play cricket. Minister Horin Fernando said that he accepted the opposition leader's comment. There are no ratings for this particular ground and there are ratings for international cricket grounds. This ground is to be removed after the 14th of this month. Sri Lanka Cricket has sent an agent to check the condition of the ground. However, the relevant duty was not achieved properly.
Pinamu macang, prima kotumi, fantamai.
And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel I. I'm Dilanjali together with Uvin signing off. Good night.
Good night.